Hi there, this is Ken from Smart House Electric taking you through how to replace the fans in the top of a sunstar from ETS. And first you gotta loosen up your end caps. There's 4 screws, so you can pull the end cap away from the tanning bed, maybe about half of an inch. If there's a little tight spot on the other side, I really recommend getting one of these little ratchets here so that you can get in a small tight corner, and then you loosen that one up, and then here you see how you can get in to the profile there. You gotta get it out, and so also you can put a screwdriver to a place that the later will be covered by the end cap. It's not making any ugly marks. And so you just start from one end, and then you just patiently pull that profile out so you don't break it. These tend to be very brittle over time, and so once you have that loosened on both sides and you have that profile out, you just pull up in the middle there and you can take that whole cover away. And very importantly, now we're gonna dig in, disconnect the power. If you don't have a plug like that, then go to the electrical breaker and turn that off, because now you're gonna get your hands into where there's power. Alright. So let's get that thing out of the way so we can see what we're doing. And of course take the opportunity, now we got the tough skin off, to clean down everything. Not even clean down the fans that I'm about to work on. There's some, might as well. And then they sit with 2 screws. And so what's important to do here, what I find is something that works for me, is that I only take one at a time. I don't take both of them apart. The reason is that you can get confused about the orientation of things and how the wires goes and all that. And if you take them one by one, you can use the other one for a reference. And so you take the 2 screws out of the bottom first, and now you turn it upside down, and it'll be, I want to say it's 1/4 inch screws here for a socket, and you just back those out. Take them all the way out, yeah. And you take the wire side first, so you can unplug that fan and take the wires away. And then you can really start to work on the fan mechanically itself by separating it from the wires, because it can sometimes get out of hand if you drill like catches and just kind of spins the whole arrangement. If you have wires on there, not a good thing. Of course you can use hand tools. Yeah, I like to be lazy, so use a drill wherever I can. So alright, so there's a little bit of a trick with the orientation when you bring in the new fan. There's arrows on these fans showing the direction of which they turn, and also in what direction. Yeah, look at that, all rambunctious. And so I always put like these things, those stands, off to each side from where they came. And now I'm gonna bring in the other fan and kind of compare the two, and so I get the same orientation. If you have the exact same fan, then you know you don't have much job there. But I like to be thrifty and get these box fans from somewhere else and save quite a bit of money. So, but sometimes it doesn't make any sense to look for that, and most of the times I'll say it doesn't make any sense to do that. just go with the manufacturer's recommended. You can spend a lot of time on finding the exact correct fan. So I've been talking a lot there about this and that, but it's pretty much self-explanatory. So now you're just reversing everything. I always start with the opposite side of the wiring harness to mount the brackets there. You'll see why. If they're loose, if you do it in the other order, you put the wire side on first, well then these are all like loose and you have to control a lot of stuff with your hands and then put the screws in. So I think this is a way that works really well. So yep, gotta plug in the fan now, and then we can slide in our cable holders there and get a screw through. So but watch out for that screw. You are working in an area, you have an acrylic right underneath there, and so if you drop a screw down through those cavities there, well, you gotta take the acrylic off then. And that's yeah, did you hear that? Well, I heard that. So what if you bump into the same situation, then watch the video on how to take the acrylic off. So let's plug some power back in. So before we put the skin back on, we want to make sure that this actually works. So we put some time on there and just feel that air is actually being exhausted out. And now that's all good to go, he says. And so let's put the top plastic back on. So the profile in the back, you don't take that completely off, and typically it's divided into 3 pieces, but you kind of just like push it back, like halfway back, so it just kind of opens up. You don't need to take it all the way off. You could. So just enough so that the top skin, the plastic skin here, can kind of slide inside of it. And so you push that into the back there. And then the next task is, of course, to get the sides in. And so if you lift up like that out in the front a little bit, you can kind of tweak it a little bit and make it more narrow and get it into the end cap. And remember, we still have the end caps loose, you know, about ½ an inch out a little further, so we have a little bit of leeway also there. So once you have the skin into place, you almost got it. And just, I know that these skins can be very brittle, so this is always kind of an exciting job. That's also why you want to make sure you test those fans before you put all this back together. By the way, this is also the way that you take the skin off if you need to, on some of the other models, to fix a facial fan on one of these guys here. And so let's get our profile back on here, and I kind of get it just a little in where I think it's gonna go, and then I go to the other end, and then I can see that was a little bit too far that way, but I still like tag it in where I want it, and then I push that one over to where I think it's gonna go. And now we can kind of wiggle the profile back into place, and that's how you do it. Had a bit of practice with those from back in the day, so just nice and careful, move all the way over. And then you, of course, remember the ones in the back. You also got to click those in, and that's it. That's how you do it. And yeah, again, if you drop a screw in there, and also if the dust will come down from the top down on the top acrylic, and so you probably want to clean it. So, but here's that was how to change the fans, and thank you for watching.